Hello, lovely people. My name is Miracle Prayers. In fact, my name is Amasopoma, but they popularly call me Miracle Prayers. And today, you are welcome to the Regardless podcast, where we talk about our in and out of season, with or without, abounding and abasing, yet having a God who remains faithful. Hello, lovely people. My name is Miracle Prayers. In fact, my name is Amasopoma, but they popularly call me Miracle Prayers. And today, you are welcome to the Regardless podcast, where we talk about our in and out of season, with or without, abounding and abasing, yet having a God who remains faithful. Ministry isn't all fire and miracles. They are struggles, awkward moments, and things no one wants you about. We are talking about it all today, Unfiltered. So the tagline is a talk on faith without filters or borders. I did not come alone. I have the honor, the prestige, the privilege of three women, powerhouses for a matter of fact. Pastor Eleva, Lady Laurentia, and Lady Abigail. I'll give them a chance to introduce themselves. But for now, I just want you to know that if you've been struggling with ministry, you've been wondering if you are called, this is where you need to take a seat, have your snacks, and get ready. So now, let's go to the real deal. I'll start. First things first, who are you and what do you do? And then tell us about something random about you.
My name is Eleva Akosia Asidwa Ozu, and I'm a pastor by the grace of God. So much of a blessing. I became a pastor at the age of 21.
Okay, we are sorry.
Yes, but I think for now, that's all you have to know about me.
All right.
Thank you.
Abigail.
Okay, so my name is Abigail Yamutili Mensah. I'm a minister and an aspiring diplomat. I have a passion for women to break through and not get tied up by their backgrounds and stand their grounds. I love pictures, yeah. I think that's all for now.
All right. They told me they love dancing. I'm wondering what's happening. Laurentia.
Okay, so my name is Laurentia Nodako Kwantima, a businesswoman and a minister of God.
Gosh.
Fun fact, right?
Yeah.
I love kinky. Like kinky.
Okay, so you believe
Kinky over flowers. I told you that, right? Yes, basically that.
All right. So I'm just going to ask you people your Jesus story. How did you meet Jesus? Tell me if you were a rebel before. You've always been a church girl. I mean, for myself, I've always been like a church girl. I started doing children's service, quiz, JY, and then I evolved. I've always been that person that has always been spiritual. But I mean, when I say spiritual, I didn't mean I had the right knowledge. I mean, a lot of zeal with no direction. But I want to know about you. How did your Christian journey start? I mean, for mine too, I was in class 3. I was sitting there and I heard the angel of the Lord tell me that I was going to be a child of God, like I was going to do ministry. And I started speaking in tongues. So I started speaking in tongues when I was in class 3.
Then.
Yeah, right. So I want to know how you started and so just tell us your Jesus story, how you met Jesus, literally.
So basically, I'll just probably start from the Holy Ghost moment. Because all my life I've been
a church girl,
actively doing quizzes, going for.
Oh, fun fact! Me and Laurentia were in a JY quiz together, and I was first. She was second. I have to add it.
Well, I mean, so it started from since I was little, but the turning around point was when one of my classmates, JHS 3, went for a church camp, came back and decided to impact the whole.
Wow.
Yeah.
What school was that? What school was that?
Tema Parents Association.
Oh, please.
The best school in Tema. So
Queensland will pretend we didn't hear this.
Yeah, you guys are not in Tema. Like Sakumon or something. So, I mean, he came and we had some series of meetings. He came and it was wonderful. So that was the point. We had prayer meetings, and that was the first point where I started speaking in tongues, and it was beautiful. Since then, it had been back to back moments. So that was in Form 3. It's shot up in like SHS when I got to SHS 1, 2, 3, just doing ministry. So
I
I've
went
been
to
in
the
ministry.
same SHS too, just by the way.
Yes. So I've been in ministry for like over 10 years sort of, and
Wow.
it's been grace to grace so far.
Yeah, Lorisha has been following me from SHS to uni.
Amma
Like
has
she's
been
been
following me.
she's been trolling me.
Amma has been timing me, but I'm glad we are still in this business of
Wow.
winning souls and making impacts.
Yeah. Okay. Lady Abigail, what's your story?
Okay, so I grew up in a Christian home, but I would say my side was more of religious because you have to be in church because you have to be pulled along. You have to follow auntie because you can dance. You have to be in the choreography group. You have to be all over. And then it looked like I was just traveling. Today I'm with this church, tomorrow I'm with this church. But it turned around when I went to SHS. So in SHS, so before I went to SHS,
But were you a bad girl before that?
Buddy.
I would say I was a bad girl.
But you were doing you were in the world kakra.
Yes, I won't say kaka because as at class 3, I go to class with lyrics of new peaceful songs for people to learn. And from the tender age, I always pull crowd. So I realized that
Crowd filler.
I realized that I was always a gang leader. So I could actually make something out of it. But then when we got to JHS, somewhat JHS 2, there was this guy in my class. He really irritates me because he was so spiritual, and then those people who wouldn't trade their faith for anything.
Yeah.
I felt like, you're talking about logic. What is this guy doing? And it shook me to always fight him in terms of academics, because I'm like, I want to challenge this boy that you can do without God, right? So it was just back and forth. But there was a beautiful scene in there where in JHS 1, my class teacher got close. She's a pastor's wife, actually. I was one notorious girl. I'm one notorious girl. And she took interest in me. So she was guiding me, teaching me. But it looked like I was just following suit. So this guy that I was fighting in terms of academics actually became a brother, because we were like siblings, because our class teacher was a mother. So we became the best of friends. You know, primary JHS, everybody thinks there's something in there, but there wasn't
you really
anything.
sure there was nothing?
There wasn't anything.
Should we go back?
There wasn't anything.
Anyways,
I would say that, you know, there's a way emotions get to certain sometimes when you're getting close with the opposite sex. No lie about that.
and they were teasing you, I'm sure.
They were teasing me.
They even merge your names together. Do you remember that flame?
Right, you know that thing.
Then you cancel out your names.
And he was a very quiet person, and I was so not quiet. No, I'm not a quiet person.
We can
So it was
see
like
it.
opposite, like direct opposite. But then along the line, I was always in his house here and there after school, every time. So in SHS, you know, coming from a house where you've heard a lot of misconception about high school. Oh, high school has a lot of features. You have to be spiritual. So I was just going into high school with the notion that, I had to look for something to cling on to. So that was how come I got to SU. And then I thought I was just following suit. But then in high school, I met this Pentecost girl. She's very sharp in the prophetic. And she's very, very much on fire for God. So we thought it was just we trying to say that we were just friends who get along. You call each other for SU and that's all. But I realized that God actually had a different plan.
Yeah.
That was how come,
You became spiritual.
I ended up setting up intercession groups here and there on high school.
Okay.
And all.
Yeah, sorry.
And that was how it all changed.
I'll
And
be going intercession. Anyways, Pastor, tell me about your story.
Wow. So funnily, this one question that whenever I'm asked, I feel like I don't have an answer to it. Or more or less like my answer is fictional kind of, because when I say it, people don't believe it. So my story is somehow similar to Ame's own. Whenever I say it, people don't believe, because
I think you've told me.
yes, I just can't recollect like the points where I can say, okay, this is the point.
Yes, I know
Yes.
that thing. Yes.
I can't recollect. Seriously.
I just know I've always loved God. I've been wanting to do His work.
That's
I just
beautiful.
can't recollect. I've had a number of people ask me this question. And I remember the first time I was asked, I think it was one of my reverends in Bible school. And he asked me, and I was like, I think I was born again from church. I mean, sorry, not from church, from birth, actually.
Okay.
And he was like, you this girl, are you serious? Like, how can you be born again from birth? But I think that's it, because I
So there
can't
was no
pinpoint.
dramatic moment.
No.
No, my daughter.
I was born in
Yes,
Pentecost. I was born in Pentecost,
Yeah.
so
Wow.
we were on Pentecost,
Right.
grew up. I just can't pinpoint
You can't
that
pinpoint a moment.
this was where, yeah.
All right, this is a quick one. Are you in full-time ministry, or you balance it with something else?
I would say I'm in full-time ministry.
How does it? I'm coming. I'll come back to you. Abigail, are you in full-time ministry?
Okay, this question is a bit controversial because there's a misconception about full-time ministry. Yes.
Because Paul used to do the tent and still do full-time ministry.
Yes.
All right, that makes sense.
So I hope I answered you. Or
All right,
still
so
want to-
you're in full-time ministry.
It looks like it, yeah.
She's trying to shake tables while answering questions. So, okay, so are you in just ministry? That is, you do not
No.
have you are not working for Babylon, or you are not, or you are not. When I say you're not working for Babylon, it just means you are doing a secular job, or you are not having your own business.
No, I have a business.
You have a business,
Yes.
but you're in full-time ministry.
Yeah.
Okay, it makes sense. I get her angle.
Saying I'm in part-time ministry.
Lay ministry.
I have my business, Moon Opticals.
These
Wow.
are women.
Yes.
They are money-making women.
Yes, and I'm a biomedical engineer too, and I do ministry.
Tell us you are smart without telling us you are smart.
and I do ministry. I mean, it's so when you're saying full time, like you're getting everything, your money and everything from ministry.
Yeah.
Oh, then maybe part time.
But
yes,
but I get
basically
the
that.
angle, because I mean there's a level of conversation where Paul was still a tent maker
Yeah.
and he was still doing the work. So people believe there's really, when you say full time, what do you mean by
by
that?
full-time,
Exactly.
yeah.
So that's the level of, we'll have it another day whenever this podcast happens again in future. Maybe 10 billion years, but yeah, let's just go to that.
Next
Now, be very honest here, right? Have you ever thought, God, I'm done with this ministry thing? Like I'm done. Like, I know people are telling me all day, oh, it's been a blessing, it's been great, but we know. Look, let me tell you one of the times I was done with ministry. I literally finished doing so much for someone. And then the next minute, the person tells me, I don't feel like I'm called to be in your church. You know, I want to go back to where I came from. And the whole point is the kind of sacrifice you've made, right? This is just like a bummer to whoever is listening. Yeah. One of the things that I always tell people is that when people say that people are giving too much to church, they should know that it takes a lot to buy loyalty.
Yeah.
It doesn't just take coming to give the person rice.
Yeah.
So there's something someone has done in the back that you
Yeah.
have no idea about.
That's
So by the
true.
time the person is buying that person a car, it means the person has sacrificed lands or cars for that person. I'm telling you the truth. Because me, I've not reached anywhere in ministry, but I can tell you that the greatest heartbreak you can ever receive is ministry heartbreak. It hits differently. Like
Exactly.
like it hits so differently because you feel like you've ripped
Part of
yourself
you.
for someone.
Yeah.
And it's not like we want to be paid back, but it's just
Yeah.
all you care is that they are back into the ministry and they're on fire for God, and you
Yeah.
just hear sad things. So I want to know, what was that? For me, that was it. I think that's one of my many times I'm like, God, this thing I won't do it again. No, if you called me, go for it. It's a flash. I didn't see the call. But what was that one time that you felt you were down with ministry? I'll start with Abigail. So that
Why me?
that was the liver will be free.
Okay, so I would say somewhere in high school. Yeah. where you realize that, like, you're in high school, like, you are both students, you're all students. But then sometimes you're sacrificing to be in class, balance everything. And it looks like the person you are striving to get to the top isn't pulling forth. And then looks like the person makes it look like you're not doing anything. Like, you don't have anything to do. You know, that kind of a thing where you want to do something with our life. You want to pull us into ministry. So I think that was it. I was like, God, like, if I'm doing some ambassador something, I would have been at the top there. But right now, this thing, it's a done deal. But I had to choose purpose over pleasure.
Lord. Okay, so there have been highs and lows. Because I can't really say that this was the points where I felt like I'm not doing this again. In as much as I'm in my low state, I know that this is what I was born to do.
Right.
This is what because back in Holy Child, my SHS, sorry, like I was all on fire, and I remember praying this prayer that's like, I love God. Like I was telling God that I love you so much. Like no matter what, like persecution should come my way. I remember saying,
like
so
those people that
vividly.
sing refiner. I wanna be tried.
And like looking back, when things were hitting me, I can't believe I prayed that kind of prayer. I don't know if it's he heard it or something, but going through life and everything, and you might end up forgetting who you are at certain points when certain situations hit you.
Yeah.
But then last, when I'm in my lows, I know that I was born for
Whatever
this.
you do,
Like I don't think I can run away from it. Yeah, no matter what. So that's just been it. In as much as I'm faced with difficulties, it's just going to be good. Like I also had a vision, like when I was little, like it's like you're by the sea and the whole world is by the sea, and then Jesus is standing opposite, and everybody shouting.
The first person to see Jesus was Lorisha.
And Jesus was like, there are people here, then there's Jesus there, and he's looking at all the people like he died for, and everybody's insulting him, throwing stones at him, and I come out of the crowd. And I'm like, oh, hi. Oh, don't mind them. Whoa. Let's go. Like, hey, so in my mind, that vision has like been with me for the rest of my days so far. And I don't think I can run away from him, basically. I think I'm locked on.
Pastor Oliver, you two are locked.
I'm locked.
Hey,
Seriously.
Okay, Pastor Oliver's story makes sense, yeah?
Yeah.
Tell us.
So like Laurentia said, there are highs and lows. Ministry is something that you should expect. It's not all,
Of course.
Rosary.
I mean, that's
yeah,
life,
exactly.
naturally.
Yes, that's life. So you should expect it, and when you have that expectation, it helps you a lot. It helps you a lot, so that when it comes, it's like you are fixated. I'm with God, but
Fixing your eyes on the altar and perfecter.
Yeah.
but when the lows comes, like So
That's
there's this thing where when you are serving God, you're like, oh, because I'm serving God, everything should be okay.
Yeah.
Everything should go right with me.
Yeah.
Everything should be in place. But then you get to this point where, hey, nothing is really at a point or in a season. Family, school, finances, it's just not hitting right as you expect.
Yeah.
And the worst part is you are doing it for others, right?
Right.
You are praying those prayers for others.
Exactly.
You are praying those prayers, but for you, it's like you're not seeing it well. And at that point, like, what would you do? Is it that point where you say, God, I'm giving up? So that's one of the main points in my life where I'm like, God, I like you so much. I'm serving you. Like I said, I like you, God. Like, why you do this to me?
I mean, when Pastor Oliver was talking, I just remembered something, right? When I finished GHS, right, I started to get into SHS a little. And that point, I told God I was not going to serve him. So when I got to SHS, I told God I was not going to do the work of God again.
Seriously.
Because I was upset. Like, I was the chaplain in my school in JHS. I was praying for people to go to SHS. When people had issues with their results, I would pray and then they'll get the school. Then I am not getting the school. I was like, God, I'm done. Do you know what happened? The first day I entered the dormitory, I literally preached to the Form 3s and Form 2s. That was when I got to know that when God chooses you, it's not,
You can't run away. No.
because I'm like, where did I
You
get
just
the confidence?
can't
And
be
you know the worst part? My best friend right now says that when she saw me, I was too confident to be a Form 1 girl because she had even come 8 days earlier. And I had come the first day. I was taking my parents to preach.
You told me that. I was so
I'm
dumbfounded.
like, oh. And this is
Wow.
me that was angry with
Thursday.
God. This is me that was angry with God, apparently. I was like, I was not
Angry
going
with
to do the work, right?
Hey,
But
Charlie.
that's what makes us know that, like,
It's so
we are
beautiful.
born for this.
Yeah.
Literally, we are born for this.
It's beautiful.
Okay, so I'll just continue with, and this is a very dicey one, but let's go. Now, you've all said that ministry can be tough, right?
Yeah.
And I think one of the things that makes it a little tougher is that people will offend you because it's a human institution.
Yeah.
The fact that it's a church does not change the fact that it's a school or something. So people will definitely offend you.
That's true.
How do you? I mean, I always say that offenses are because we are from different backgrounds.
Yeah.
I laugh about a lot of things. So maybe something can happen to you and I'm laughing. It's not that I'm trying to hurt you, but you are just, I mean, your background, you don't laugh about certain things, right? I mean, people can look at me and say, you're very black or like charcoal, and I'll laugh. I don't see anything.
Yeah.
But, I mean, this is not something that someone will take very well, right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Different
So, I
backgrounds.
mean, these things happen all the time. How do you handle offenses? Like, people want to know because day in, day out, you know, one thing about offenses that they tell you that, oh, if the people are offending you, leave them. But sometimes, where are you going to? You are living with the people. They'll be with you. So how do you handle offenses?
Well,
I'll start with Law.
So this question, thing is, I'm human, and one thing, I'm very, very emotional. I'm just going to use one instance. People have offended me since
Childhood.
holy child to where I am today. So there was this one time, okay, I was on Asha, and there was this Asha. She did something, and it really got to me. I was so hurt. How I dealt with it. I mean, I spoke to my leader about it, but I left the Asha and he passed me.
last.
I didn't want to be in a situation where I would have to disrespect her or probably say something and I'll think about it. I'm like, oh my God, what did I just do? So I just took myself out of the situation. But I think if someone offends you in ministry, the first thing I did was to speak to my leader about it. To seek
What if it's the
wisdom.
leader offending you?
Your leader's leader.
What if the leader is the last resort?
Yeah.
And one thing you have to be careful, you have to talk to a wise person about it.
Yeah,
It's
that's
not
true.
everyone, because some people will just
They'll add
fan-
fire. Oh!
They will
That's
just
very
want
true.
to
Fan the
flame.
flame.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you just need to relax. Some things are higher matters, like Charlie. Maybe this person is a leader and you speak to another leader about, like, there's always a way. But talking to your fellow, you might not get wisdom and things would escalate.
But what if, Lord, genuine question, what if the leader is the last resort? Let's say your most senior, most pastor. I'm sorry, my pastor, I'm not saying you are the one who did it. But let's say your most senior, most pastor has offended you. Who are you going to talk to? Like, people genuinely want to, because people have left churches because they've been offended. And I mean, one of the prevalent things, if you are very observant, is offenses in churches. Like, if you talk to the average person who has stopped church, it's an offense. I can bet you.
That's true.
So what do you do? If that's the last resort, what do you do? Okay, maybe let me ask Pastor Eva. Pastor Eva, what do you do? You are the pastor. Pastor Eva became a pastor at 21.
Ordained pastor.
Ordained pastor from Anakazo Bible School.
So one thing that I would say is that offense do come. Offense is something that you can't say that there's no way it won't come. So sometimes it's better to put yourself in the position where it's like, I'm ready for the offense. And rather find a way to fight it. Because there's this one thing that my pastor, Commander L, said. He said, you can only step on someone's leg when the person is close to you. So you can only offend, or you can be offended by those who are close to you. And if you are going to leave that place, you are also going to get closer to another person, and the person is definitely going to offend you. So personally, what I do is that I just psych my mind that I'm just ready. Any space that I find myself, I put myself in a position that offense can happen.
So in that period where you're offended, what do you do? In that period, what do you do? How do you see people? Let me give you a hypothetical situation. Imagine you go to church and you didn't do something, and they are accusing you of it. For instance, the moment you enter church, all your members are telling you that they've heard you've slept with this pastor. Everyone believes it. It's on social media. There are videos looking like it was you. But it could be AI. It looking like it was you, but it could be AI.
Not.
It is not you actually. It could be AI. And everyone has believed it. Even your pastor is questioning you. Your pastor that you feel should know you. For me, I always say that you shouldn't take offense. Offense happens, but don't take it. Because the same way when you are walking, right? You step on ants. It's not intentional, right? But we always kill ants. That's how offenses are. Like you would not want to do it, but you've hurt someone who has hurt you. All of us have hurt people. We're talking here too. We don't know how much some of our members, if they get us, they'll beat us.
I know.
Right? So because sometimes you call them, where are you coming? They are not happy, right? But I say you shouldn't take. But in the spirit of the moment, let's say something like this happens, like a way someone can deal with it. Abigail, I'm going to ask you.
Should I use
you
the
can use
instance
the scenario I've given you.
Hey, it's a bit some way, right?
But how are you going to deal with it? Because this one, the person, as Pastor Eva said, it's people who are close to you, right? So, your mother doesn't believe you. Your pastor doesn't believe you. And to be honest, when you start doing ministry more, you realize that your whole life is geared. Most of your friends become ministry people. Most of your friends become your church people.
Yeah.
So now, if they don't believe you, it's more painful to an extent than even your family sometimes. To be honest, it's more painful. Yeah. It's more painful. So why?
This scenario is a bit somewhere, but I would say that I won't say step out of church, but in this instance, I would say the person should first vent on God. Go to God with all the emotions, be naked before Him, be just honest and say that God this, that. And then if it is not true over time, the truth will definitely come out. Sometimes we tend to leave places where God would want us to be to grow. We just go ahead of God in terms of thinking that, no, this pastor should have known better. This person should have known better. But I have come to a point of acceptance where I wouldn't want to, in as much as the people around me are spiritual, I wouldn't want to expect too much because they are humans. And of course, they can offend me. They would offend me. But if the offenses come, it doesn't mean I should detach. There are instances where God will need you to detach because maybe that place is not the place of your good. But there are instances where God will need you to be there. So I think the best person to go to is God because, who do you go to? God,
So if it were to be me, persecution from within is more painful.
Almost say Abubakar were if you
that's
it's crazy. Persecution from without there. I'm saying it's not me. There'll be a lot of things. You wouldn't be and I've had situations, people end up walking out of the ministry because they were not believed, because they were accused of certain things. There will definitely be that one person. But if the main people, you can decide to stay and ignore and just look on, because one day the truth would come out. Eventually you'll be vindicated. But as she said, probably pray about it. And the ministry you're in, there's a vision. Not letting that incident or that offense come between you and the vision is something that's, you have to be hard-hearted. But for me, I would have been angry. Why not believe? Can't you see it's not me? I'll try my best to prove. But then even if you prove and they say it's not you now, they probably see you in a different way. and it's something that you have to be hard.
Okay, I'll just add my take on it. One of the things I've always said is that if you know where you are going, you do not stop because you have road bumps.
Yeah.
That's literally it. If you are running on a road and there are 10,000 road bumps on the road, do not stop because there are 10,000 road bumps on the road. And sometimes the road bumps are not all the same. Some are really nasty. Some of them, when they hit your car, you really feel it. There are some that fine, it hits, it's okay. And that's how ministry is. Some are really nasty. It can go as far as a sexual accusation. It can go as far as even ministry money, finances. Like there are so many.
Dangerous.
There are so many dynamics. It can go as far as accusing you of even being a liar, a hypocrite, like so far. Besides, people can say you're possessed in the church when you yourself, you know you are not possessed.
Yeah.
Like it goes so far, right? But one of the things I always say is that know why you are there. And you know, the problem is if you do not know why you joined the church, anything can take you out of the church. When you know you joined because you know that God has given this church a divine mandate, I have to follow with them.
Yeah.
Then not like you don't flicker. Because I mean, in our workspaces, I mean, it's not always a rosy day for us too, right? But I mean, one of the things you have ahead is this is what I want to achieve. Come what may. And in the church is more important because I always say the church is the body of Christ. Christ as his head, he's just there alone. He needs a body fixated on it. So when the body, there are some, you see the fact that a body, your hand does not work, doesn't mean you can never use your body. It's just a deformed part. What do we do to that? We try to give the thing therapy. If therapy doesn't work, we can cut it off. But it doesn't mean we throw the body away. So leaving the church, because when you leave, wherever you go, you will meet another person. You will meet them again. You will meet again. And you don't even know what you get. And I mean, if you keep jumping from church to church, you are stifling your growth. A seed does not jump from place to place. I mean, when we learn germination, I always say this. There are a lot of conditions for germination. A viable seed, water, air, and a suitable temperature. Water and air are quite easy, but a suitable temperature is so hard. That is the doctrine of a church. What they are preaching, what they are teaching you. You can't go everywhere and listen to everything and run with everything. By the time we know, if people come and tell us that you saw her in Bible, I came.
I think,
and that is what is used to heal COVID.
Would you get to a point where you can never be offended? Because there's this that says
perfection.
Perfection is he who does not take offense.
Yes. Of course. You can definitely get to that point. Because the Bible says that do not let the devil have a foothold. So in as much as we are all matured, we can let the devil have a foothold.
That's true.
And I said that I've always said that no conversation leaves you neutral. Everything we are having here, no one is going to leave neutral. Everything we discuss there is going to impact whoever listens to it. And that's the same thing. You cannot talk with certain people. There are times that I've been hurt by what people have done to me. And one of my very solid people are my friends. Because when I tell them, they trivialize the issue. So I can't carry it.
Right.
But when none of my friends will carry, you see, when I tell my friends something, they are just going, if I'm angry about something, I tell my friend, oh, it's nothing. I'm sure. And because of them, I know how to make excuses for people. One of my friends says that always think the worst. So if someone is mean to you, think that the person is having a bad day. So I always, mentally, I'm always making excuses for you. So I'll never really get angry, right? I'll never really, and I don't keep the anger. Do you understand?
I think Pastor Chris made a statement, right? And then he said that the church can never be a perfect place because there are people like you in every church.
You are there. You are the example for why we cannot be perfect. But we are doing Anyways, all right. So I'll fuse these two questions together. As a woman stepping into ministry, what fears or misconceptions did you have genuinely? And then I'll ask that, what are some of the challenges? What's one major challenge that made you question if you were really built for this? So you can fuse it together. So as a woman stepping into ministry, what fears or misconceptions? I'll start.
Okay, that's a good start.
I think you see, the problem with stepping into ministry, I didn't know when I stepped inside. So I can't even have the fear or misconception, right? But I think in ministry, one of the issues I probably I don't like to hear is when I hear, my pastor is a lady pastor, by the way, and she was made a lady pastor at 18. So when I say I'm going to my pastor's house, they'll be like, hey, you're going to sleep at your pastor. I'm like, I've not even told you the gender she is. They rush too quick. Do you get it? It's a lady, like, yo, Ace, what are you doing with your pastor? Are you dating? I'm like, relax. I've not told you. So that's one of my. I feel like there's always been the lady will be the pastor's wife.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
always
I
been
mean,
it. Yeah.
okay.
I think that's just something I don't like. And also the fact that I feel like God is very smart. There's a reason he made male and female. There's a reason he didn't make male and male, right? He
Yeah.
made male and female. So everyone's personality type is needed for the work of the ministry. There are people that can lead because of the way their personality type. There are people that can support those that can lead, right?
Yeah.
And I believe that's how it is. So sometimes I get very sad when maybe they be like, oh, she's a woman. They'll be like, oh, she's a woman. She can't do much.
Right.
As for this, your bar, sorry, like it can't. I mean, it just doesn't augur well with me. I don't think I can change it though.
Yeah.
But I just hope it can get better.
Yeah.
That's just the way. I don't think I can come and destroy the system. No. I think it will be there till thy kingdom comes, to be
Yeah.
honest. Even though we say there's no male nor female. I mean, as we are sitting here, we are females, as you can say. So yeah, but I think those are like some of the things. And maybe my challenge, I would say I have one personality right now, but it will boil back to this, or literally boil back to this. Pastor Elephant.
So I would say one fear is, see, there's this thing that about women, like you can't do too much, or you can't go to a certain extent
Yeah.
more than a male.
Example. I'm trying to understand. Because-
Example. Oh, okay. What can I even say? I mean, let's say even church. Let me not go far in church. Maybe a pastor, a lady pastor. It's like you have to calm down. You have to bring everyone in their gift. So maybe the gift that God gave you, or the mantle, or the vision God gave you, is to go to a certain extent. But just because you are in a certain society and their mindset is you are a lady, you are a girl, so you can't do that much, or you can't do too much, or more than. So it's one of, I would say,
It's one of your fears.
my fears.
Like you feel,
Yes.
I even think one of the other fears I even thought you mentioned was they feel like when women get married, they stop ministry. So they become housewives. Their ministry ends. Like, that's another fear I've had.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, that-
I mean, when Catherine Coleman, you remember when Catherine Coleman fell in love,
Yeah.
people felt like her
Sure.
ministry went to that. So I mean, they always like, hey, once the girl falls in love, the Juma no Ajay, or like those
The
kind of
fire
things. Yeah,
quenched,
the fire
yeah.
has ended.
The fire. It's also there. Yeah. people
So you
also
think it's the fact that you cannot just make impact like you want because there's a male, like don't outshine the male short.
have- Yes.
Yes.
It just boils back to life. Okay, this anyone wants to answer this one? If no one wants to
No,
answer,
you
we'll just
ready?
continue.
I'll probably just misconception came from Paul with women not speaking and not being loud, like keep quiet and
But it's contextual, right?
Yes.
Yes.
It's contextual. The
And-
Church of Corinth.
exactly. And people take it out of context and like throw it. But me growing up, I don't think I've cared that. I mean, what a man can do, a woman can do better. So in my head, like
Go and carry that thing over there. Go and carry it. A woman can do better.
there's this man of God that has like so many members, and I'm looking at him. I'm like, God, like I didn't tell myself, hey, maybe I'm a lady, so I can't. I was thinking, I'm like, Charlie, I have to like.
Was
I-
that encouraging
this,
you?
yes, this holy anger, like I have to do. Questioning, it's very wonderful. It's very beautiful to have to do God's work. I don't personally. Gender hasn't been a problem for me personally. Maybe,
But hasn't there been a time people have used your, like, you tell them to do something and they are like, they question your authority because you're a woman. Hasn't it
Yes.
happened?
hey, no,
In your cell, your branch,
okay, go on.
about clapping back, right? So I'm just saying that as a woman, how do people respond to you as a woman? So sometimes you give authority. I'm not going to ask you again. Don't worry, calm down. How you go? Like you give authority, give a word. Do you feel like people don't respect the authority just because you're a woman?
Some people take it as pride.
Yeah, Yeah,
people take it
yeah.
as right.
SHS.
Some
I
people
just
take it as
remembered
right.
something. You see, when I was in SHS, right?
Tell us.
I was very, my attitude was
my
not too
God.
feminine, right? I was very audacious. I would do what I have to do. I don't care, right? And I remember that it got to a point, people said I have pride, I have the spirit of deception, and it was people within.
Spirit
Yeah.
of deception.
People within, and they were saying things, and they were even going to call some of the juniors and talk to them. And this is because
Girls' school.
this is because I was very audacious, and up till now, I'm not even going to. Up till now, people think I have pride because when I'm talking, I don't joke like.
It's
I'm just
straightforward,
going to-
yeah.
But you know, I've always said that the Bible says in Job 22 verse 29 that when men are cast down, you will say that there is a lifting up, and God will lift the humble person. So the person that is saying there is a lifting up when people are cast down is rather the humble person. So when you do not confess your authority, you are rather the one with pride.
Yeah.
Because you think you are enough.
That's true.
But you know, humility always looks like the person who is calm, doesn't talk
Yeah,
a lot,
that's true.
It's so
Serious,
polite.
serious.
Please, me paucho baby. Please, I'm sorry. You know, but person can say me paucho with Jimmy like.
Yeah,
that's what they miss. You get it.
Yeah,
So
please.
I've always been, and I mean, I've heard this countless time in my ministry. Like you have a lot of pride because I mean, you will not tell me. It's not because you're a man and you have told me that I should calm down. Because at a point, I even heard I was over spiritual. I've heard it several times in my life.
Yeah.
Several times. You're over spiritual.
Wow.
And these are very real things, right? I
Very.
mean, I've never cried about them, to be honest.
Really?
I will not give you my tears for that.
Wow.
Never. My tears. Never for that.
Over
Tears are for
spiritual.
members, eh?
My tears are for souls. The Bible
Surely.
says those who sow in tears will reap with songs of joy.
Members.
If I'm giving my tears, it must be I can't be sowing into your false accusation.
Yeah.
That's
Nah,
true.
fam, nah.
Yeah.
All right, I'll just go to the next one. Okay, so okay, this is like basically now we are going to talk about an aspect that I know my audience will be happy about. Audience. Now, have you ever been in a relationship, situationship, brothership, all the shit? In fact, if you don't understand, situationship is like when, let's say, you are not dating. You are not single. But you know he's there. He knows you are there. But they've not told you, I want to marry you.
Hey.
Have you ever been
marry
in such a ship? Like, I want to date you, I like you, or something like that. Have you ever been in that ship before? Like, even that circumstance. And I know there are young girls who are in that.
Yeah.
They are always talking with the person. The person is very spiritual. The person can play you. Look, I'm just going to be honest here. One of the things that really attracts me to the opposite sex is when the person is very, like, it's very, like, you know your stuff, like you like. I mean, it's not really face and those things, but it's very important. I always say that if they say the child looks like their father, I should be fine.
Hey.
So I mean that's like a top tier attraction. Like when the person is really on fire. Like when I see people that they can do 16 hours, 20 hours. Like I'm like I can do this, but it's just nice to see that my man can do it. If I'm
Is that my man for me?
My man.
I didn't say I have a man.
We
Please
didn't
don't
say
carry me
anything.
and go.
We know.
I
Should I
know.
mention him?
We didn't say anything.
But I'm just saying that, like, have you ever been in that ship? Have you been in any of those ships? I throw this to C, Pastor Eleva. I knew she didn't want this question, so I'm going to do it.
Hey, actually, I've been in a ship before.
Which
Don't
of
do
them?
Hey, which of the ones?
It
Which
was,
of the
It
ships?
was at the Temahabo.
Are you serious? What ship have you been in?
Actually, what should I say? Okay, I wouldn't say I've been in a relationship.
Don't deny them more.
Situation.
Please, if you are dating Pastor Eleva and she's denying you, call our
Those
number.
days coming.
0244 666 and come and tell us the truth.
It's your boo, your boo.
serious. I'm serious. I've not been, to be sincere, I've not been in a
No
relationship.
brothership?
Where it's not
Brothership.
defined. Okay, but there are girls who are in those ships right now.
Yeah.
They've not defined it. They say they'll tell you I see you like a sister, but they want us to kiss. They'll tell you I see you like a brother, but they want to touch every part of your body.
Eish.
Wow.
That's extreme.
I wouldn't say I found myself
In
to
that-
be
yeah.
to be
All right.
very sincere.
Abigail.
serious.
Abigail has known that she should tell the truth or she should lie. Whether she should do it solemn or with a bit of display.
Okay.
Bangai. Please play Gangai in the tune.
I would say I've been in some before. Yeah. Maybe the brothership, yeah.
You're lying to yourselves. You brothers own the person, but you lied each other.
Not so. But I mean, you begin to see the person as a brother, and then you realize that it's getting somewhere. Like there's some ignition somewhere.
So how did you
Yes.
manage that? Or you've managed and now you've crossed over that ship?
I would say I've managed and crossed over. Yeah. And it gets so beautiful. Would I say unusual when like the person come to post when you post?
Yeah.
Like the same thing you post, the person comes to post after you posted.
Hey.
And then it makes your mind begin to think.
So you know how
a
girls
lot.
are very funny. When they meet a
Wow.
guy and let's say he's nice, maybe he shares the birthday with their mother. The spirit is talking. Then maybe he has some surname with he has some first name with their brother.
sign.
Yeah. Or maybe he
Okay,
has the
I
same
don't
birth
use
date.
that. I don't use that.
I mean, girls do that sometimes. They'll start imagining
Serious?
Yeah,
how
that's
the wedding
true.
will look and all of
That's
that.
true.
Hey.
Like Amma
like,
said, a fine face.
Yeah.
I go to check it. I'm like,
Sign
is
your
this
face.
person really a fine face? or something?
Hey.
And then intellectually, the person should be. You get it? Yeah.
Okay.
So I tried to
We
check,
are sorry, ma.
but I mean, and there have been an instance where, would I say, it looks like you were flirting, but you see this person as a brother and then an elderly brother for that matter, but the person sees you like the chairwoman, comes to you for
Advice?
major decisions and like, I want to do this, I want to start up this business. What do you think? But you were way younger, but you felt like you were there.
That makes sense.
So
Law,
I think
you think you ran away?
Oh,
Yeah, we did.
Oh, I've been in situationships.
Situationships.
Yes, and a relationship.
uh,
A relationship. And
Now you're fine,
Out-
babe.
Charlie.
They are
Got a
pursuing
chick.
you.
oh no. So and I would say being in a situationship is one of the
West.
dangerous.
No.
Your heart, you are just going through
Yeah,
things
because
when
the
they
man
have
of-
not called you.
Yeah.
Exactly. The man of God has not declared anything, and
Wow.
Charlie, you just believe in your own world.
Yeah.
I mean, it was very,
Fantasy.
it was and Dabby, I wouldn't advise. I wouldn't
You know the
advise
worst part when
anybody.
you post a girl, then you'll be looking at her.
Yeah.
They've not called you. They didn't say you are the chosen.
Yeah. What kind of chosen number? I'm a
I don't
chosen.
have any. I don't have any experience. So.
But like,
But
yeah.
I've liked someone. Wow. That one, they are not wood. As we can see, I'm
Yeah.
a human being.
Flesh
Oh,
and
really?
blood.
With all the fire.
A lady.
I've liked someone before, but the sad part is the person is dead. So, and let's not guess that it's not emotional, but the person died. And when we're not in situationship because it didn't get to situationship, but we knew there was a thing, right?
Yeah.
But it didn't get anywhere. And
Are you sure
and he
it's
died.
because communication didn't continue?
But do you know something? Before he died, people were trying to ask me. I was like, "Oh nah, never." Why the person died? Oh,
I know, right?
He's gone. Anyways,
That's
okay.
true.
So,
That's
have you? Okay, people assume dating a Christian guy equals to being treated right. Do you agree?
No.
Do you agree?
I didn't hear that.
Do you people assume that dating a Christian guy equals to being treated right? Do you agree?
No.
Okay. Why don't you agree?
Why?
Anyone can just answer for all of you.
The first thing I would say is he is first a man before a man of God. So the man part, you know, when they say men are trash, I mean, men can be some way. And normally,
Our photographer is laughing at this point. He's relating. He doesn't like that we are telling him certain things.
men can be some way. You know, when the man fears God, I mean, that's a huge plus.
Yeah.
Because then he wouldn't hurt
If he
you.
fears God, he will fear how he treats you.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. But I mean, he's human as well.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't say that the fact that he's a man of God doesn't mean we are all learning. We are not immortal.
So the
We are
Bible
not
should be the
divine.
standard, right?
Yes, the
Yes,
Bible should be the
yeah.
standard.
What if he's a man of God? He's my pastor, and he says that, oh, we should just be doing small smooching.
Small what?
Small smooching. We are dating though. No, we are not dating. We just like each other. But small smooching for the road.
You know, I back in school, right? I went to Jubilee to go and like evangelize to someone. I met this guy and he was going to a particular church. I mean, I invited him. He didn't want to come to church because he used to be in a ministry where I think the man of God was dating someone, a lady, and he used to beat her up. And like the lady would keep quiet and not say anything because he's a man of God, and probably people around him would be like, oh, leader, and they wouldn't believe her. But like he said one, like it didn't make sense to him. So because of that, Charlie, when he sees people in ministry, and it just puts him off. And honestly, in my youngs, I didn't know I didn't believe it. Because I mean, hey, man of God. But then growing up and looking at, I mean, hearing stories outside and the gospel musician that died, Snatch, is it?
No.
Ebube, I can't remember her name.
Ekueme.
Yeah.
Like listening to these stories, honestly, marriage is
But don't
something
you
I
think
wouldn't
there's a
want
conversation of, because the person goes to church doesn't mean he fears God?
Yeah.
You see,
Okay,
that's
yeah.
striking.
Yeah.
Because you know sometimes you see, we Christian people, right? We like to create a world for ourselves.
That's true.
Like me right now, if let's say I meet a church guy, if he's not working, I want him to work because we cannot date an unbeliever. I won't say this nicely. We cannot. So because the person is not a believer, I know I can't date that person, right? So yeah, those of you want to say certain things, I'm saying it again and again. We cannot. So because the person is an unbeliever, you know that where you reach, you can't date an unbeliever, and he's atheist, he's agnostic, he's something. You are not ready for that. So when you meet someone that he's trying kakra, you want to manage him, right? But he doesn't fear God, right? He's not. So I think that's also another angle. Or what do you think, Pastor Ediba? What do you think now?
Oh yeah, because I think it's not all Christian guys that are
Matured.
God-fearing, matured. Yes. So if you base
so he can even be a pastor and he's not really God fearing.
Oh yes.
That's true.
Oh yes. Oh yes.
He doesn't fear God, even God fears him.
Seriously, because it's serious. What we are hearing nowadays, pastors and all that.
You know, the point I'll just say is, let your standard be the word of God. I think I've said this countless times. No matter how much you think the person has the most spiritual authority in your life, he doesn't have authority more than the word of God.
Yeah.
Bible, sola scriptura, the 5 solas.
Yeah.
So the word of God is the standard. If he's telling you, I mean, that's how come people get pastors telling them that they want to insert the spirit in them and they sleep with them, right? Because their standard is not the word of God. It's not the word of God.
I think is this fantasy we create about Christian guys. We want someone sound some way. You know, it's funny. People
And I she in the realms of the spirit.
The language of the spirit
and
is
I
being
she in the realms of the spirit.
Right.
Spirit. Sister Jessica, come here.
And I always say that it's high time we choose character over charisma. Because the person can prophesy very accurately.
But he doesn't have good character.
The prophesying is a gift.
Anyone can do it,
Yes.
to be honest.
They can prophesy from the office. I don't want to do. They can prophesy from the office of a prophet, but aren't prophets. They can prophesy because they have the gift of prophecy, but they aren't called into the office of prophecy. The prophetic. It doesn't mean that once the person is the person, he's the one that Papa calls to intercede for the church. Once he gives declaration, that is it. It doesn't mean that is the standard. That is it for. You should look at the character. if the person doesn't have the character, the person would literally lead you to hell. Yeah.
I always say that.
Serious.
Always remember that he's the one that will raise your children. If you want your children to look like him, oh bingo, let's go ahead. Let's go ahead.
Yeah.
All right, now this is just a very simple one. Okay, what if a pastor tells a young girl, I saw a vision in the realms of the spirit. You must come to my house at 3 a.m. Come and visit me. And the pastor says, according to the loyalty series.
Hey,
Is this one? Pastors, I beg.
this loyalty.
Yes. They'll pull the loyalty card. Come to my house 4 a.m. You don't disrespect. What should a young girl do?
There's a thin line between common sense and spirituality.
You
have to, because
he's a man.
if you have to go, then maybe don't go alone.
Don't go alone. That is
Yeah,
it.
maybe don't go alone. Maybe it is.
The spirit they talk.
So you just don't.
You
go
don't
alone.
know. You are not there, Sam.
Exactly. If let your mommy drop you, or maybe your dad will
Go
be in the
with
car
someone,
waiting,
an
but
additional
just
person.
don't go alone because.
When they rape you, the best they can say is sorry, right?
And you may not heal from that even.
You might not hear.
you
And they
walk
might
around
change
with-
the story, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
and you walk around with a
And
whole
it's your word against
misconception about church people. All these church people has come. That's how come people are going around saying that because of one or two experiences. But then that's not actually it.
You know,
per se.
when people tell me men are trash, I ask them, have you dated all the men in the world? You just dated 2 or maybe 3.
Some of them are also
10.
talking from
experience.
their background.
Yeah.
They literally grew up
dated
seeing
them.
their
You've dated- look,
that
father-
shouldn't make you
My
come to
argument
conclusion.
all the time is this. Fire is used to cook, but fire burns. The fact that fire burns doesn't mean fire is not good.
Yeah.
So the abuse of something does not justify its use.
Yeah.
So if someone is abusing something, I always say that, love as a word is abstract. It is humanity that gives it a concrete form. So if you meet someone who is not showing you the proper form of love, that's your best definition of love. Just how come some people are scarred from their parents?
Yeah.
Because their first point of love was their father. Their first point of love was their mother.
Yeah.
And their mother used to tell them, "Wabon, where Jimmy, Winnie, my dear." But if their first point of love was a mother that used to tell them, "You are smart, you are this," the person grows up with love.
That's true.
So, I mean, that's the same thing with church. Church is sort of abstract. It is human beings that make up the church.
Yeah.
If the first person you meet is a wrong person, your whole view, your whole doctrine is
Start.
built, your foundation is built. So, I mean, it shouldn't justify its use. I mean, you can get people hurting, you can get men of God who will lie to you and everything, but
also,
I mean, please, if you've left the church, please come back. We are
if
sorry.
we love you, we need you back.
All right, now I'm going to talk about something. Now, most of the times you hear that they say that women are emotional. I think Laurentia says she's emotional, and they say women are too emotional. So how do you manage your emotions in ministry? Because women, we have the time of the month, and our hormones really play a lot during those times. So how do you manage those emotional times? How do you like a woman in ministry, how do you have the emotional intelligence? So let me try and answer. I've not spoken a lot, right? Even though I've spoken a lot. I'm like, so me personally, I think emotional intelligence has been brought down to just crying.
Yeah.
Because I feel like men really get angry.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's not emotional intelligence at that point. But emotions is just any form of expression you choose. So when you're someone who is very joyous, someone who is very loud, someone who is very distinct. And one of the things I'm learning in ministry is how to not make my face look like I'm angry with you when I'm angry with you. Because when I'm angry with you,
That's
my
hard.
face is not behaving like I want to smile. Right? And that's one thing. And for me, I think because my life is very extreme. If I really like someone, I really like someone.
Right.
And if I don't want to worry you, I'm really out of your life. Like, I'm not going to even be there. So, I mean, one of the emotional intelligence, one of the things I think is that it depends on the person. I don't even think it's about a woman thing. It's just about the person.
individual.
And it depends on the personality type, right? It depends on really the personality. Because someone like Pastor Eleva, she's very calm. She's very distinct. So like Pastor Eleva, when she's angry, she might be smiling, right? I mean, I can be laughing and I'm very upset too. But you just see that I started talking very fast. Then you know that, but
She's
I'm
very angry.
laughing though. So I think that for me, I manage emotional intelligence, but one of the things I do a lot when I'm very annoyed, I sleep. I sleep. Because if I talk, one of the things I hate to do is say my words and apologize. Because I feel like when you say your words, whatever you said is like a whole.
Oh.
Even if you say I'm sorry, you cannot take out the whole, right? So I'll just sleep. The best I'll do is sleep. On most occasions, if I can't sleep, I'll just say yes, please, yes, please. I'll say yes, please throughout and I'll vanish. Because if you give me a chance to air my views, only Jesus
Can say.
hallelujah. But I try my best to walk away. I really try, because we are growing, so those things must fade. Anyone, how do you manage your emotions? Anyone at all? How do you manage your emotions? Pastor Eliva.
I think for me, I try to do the opposite. Right? I try to do the opposites. Let's say I'm angry. How I behave when I'm angry. Maybe I didn't like what I did, the effect of the anger. So I begin to learn, okay, what can I do? What's the contradiction of the anger? So let's say, okay, when I'm angry, one of the things I can do for people not to see that I'm angry is let me just smile. Or let me say, oh, don't worry. Maybe you've done like, just like the way
Hey, worry, fine.
Just like
I'll
the
say
way
don't worry, it's
Sina
fine. It's
came
fine. I'll say
late.
it's fine like 100 times.
But it's not
fine.
fine.
I can say
It's
it's I can say it's fine like 100 times.
Yes,
Yeah.
or it's fine, or oh, don't worry.
It's
don't
calm,
even-
it's calm.
So the time that it calms
When I'm
down,
calm, I'll
then
write you
now
an
I
essay.
can blast
I'll
you.
write you an
Oh,
essay.
really?
No. I'll say, oh, don't worry. Oh, are you? Oh, it's calm. No biggie. Maybe, whoa. Yeah.
Yeah, so I think that's
That's
one
how
of
you
the
manage it,
ways,
yeah.
Yes. it's
Well,
one
what
of
about you?
I just keep quiet. No, it's very hard for me to get angry about anything. I'm a very, very happy person. So you'd have to really try hard to make me pissed. And when I'm pissed, my eyes are so weak. So like
You
if
start crying.
I start crying. So I just keep quiet and then
You have
when-
soft eyes.
Yes. I just go and probably talk to someone about it. When I sleep and wake up the next day, I've forgotten.
Yeah.
I don't really, unless I feel, but I would have some
That-
sort of,
yeah.
I would have to talk
Yeah.
about it. Either I have to tell you, but just not at that point.
Yeah.
So I just keep quiet about it and then
Okay.
allow you to.
I know that we're all growing, but does anyone ever suffer like letting things go quickly? Letting things go quickly.
Yeah.
Do you suffer sometimes?
Yeah, we do.
I don't forget.
I don't
Yeah,
forget.
The next minute. You see, I think one thing about being with me is that when I'm not happy, the probability that I won't tell you is very low. I'll tell you. Even if I don't tell you upfront, I'll write essay. I will give you paragraph, bullet by bullet, point by point. You
That's
come,
a nice
you
presentation.
come. Unless maybe it's a very big, like a spiritual leader, you can't go and write to your pastor, I'm not happy. Hey, those ones there. But I mean, for me, so the next minute, it's not really in my mind, right?
Yeah.
But recently, something happened that
Tell us.
it shook me. I thought it would be it was in my mind, my day, my week, my month.
Tell us about
That's
It was-
extreme.
and it's going to lead me to my next question. It was a friendship, right? It was not even a relationship. And I think in ministry, one of the things you find out is that you need people in ministry, no
That's
matter
true.
how much you think you are there. And there was a friendship, and I feel like I don't think the person is a bad person. Neither do I think I'm a bad person. I just think it just didn't go well. And it really shook me because the person was very close. So that was one of the first times in my entire life I've cried about someone. I cried. I wept. Like I felt, 2023, the latter part of 2023 was very hard for me because I felt it. I can't even lie about it. I was going to church ministry, but I could feel the pain in my, like, you know that thing that you can feel like, you be like,
Yes,
your heart is
pain.
breaking. Yeah. And I
Yeah.
think it was because of how close we were, right? And it was just like, all of a sudden we had just gone to not, like, and I don't lose friends.
Yeah.
I'm really that person that I can have my KG friend till I don't lose friends. So for me, I'm like, am I losing this person? I think a person is still an acquaintance though, but I don't think we are friends now. Because that's where I got to. I don't hate the person, we don't hate each other, of course. But I think that's one of the times that I felt, and that's what I'm going to lead you to. How do you manage friendships before ministry? You know, sometimes before you become a woman of God, you have certain friendships, right? Not before you become a woman of God, but in woman of God. And how do you maintain your friendships when you're a woman of God? Like, you have friends who are not, we all have friends who are not really doing active ministry,
Yeah.
right? They probably go to a church Sunday, they come back home. How do you manage going out with them? Not being too much of over, quote and unquote, over spiritual on them. Like, they are telling you that, hey, Ghana is hard. No, the spirit says that you can never be broke. How do you manage that? I'll start with Abigail. Okay, Law.
No, please, Abigail.
I was
I was
drinking
so
water.
processing it
drinking
in my head.
I was drinking water. Lord, speak. I was drinking water.
Charlie.
How do you manage friendships? The business
Okay,
of friendship.
so you know, friends, I mean, your circle of friends really determine it can really determine how spiritual you are going to be, how giddy. Because if you are surrounded by people that are like Charlie healing the sick, raising the dead, it's just going to have an effect on you the same way, vice versa. And I mean, I have a lot of friends. I have so many friends. Personally,
Have you ever gone through a friendship heartbreak?
oh yes. Yes.
I feel like it's really, those things are painful. I don't know.
They hit
but they are
differently.
Really,
Yes.
it really,
They hit differently.
But
you
I just move.
Yeah.
You just
If
move.
you
Like
don't move,
life
what will
goes
you
on.
do?
What would you do?
Yeah, what will you do?
You can't
But
be
it hurts.
stagnant.
Of course.
It hurts.
And that's the worst part is when you see them and like you just remember how close. Maybe they have a new friend now. They just say, "Oh, this could have been us." So, but like,
Nice.
It has
it
got
doesn't
to
matter.
points where I like close friend, like I get very close to people, and they end up leaving. So I start asking myself, am I the problem? Because I make people happy. Like, why are people leaving? Like, I just, Charlie, because they probably have new friends or an issue happens and you just become distant and
Yeah, people don't know how to have grace in friendships. I feel
Yeah.
like just as in relation, I
That's
feel like
true.
my best friend, one of my best friends, he's a guy. He said one time that, and that's why we leave the chat.
Is this very
best friend.
best friend?
She's my best friend.
Okay,
Best
so
friend?
my best friend once said that he feels like everyone should treat their friendships like their romantic relationship.
Yeah.
So everything you do in a romantic relationship, you should give it to a friendship, and everything you do in a friendship, give it to a romantic relationship. The same way when your friend hurts you, you can quite forgive. You should be like that to your partner, like
Yeah.
give the person that grace. And in friendship too, I also feel like one of the things that you must know how to do is give grace, right? My current best friend and I have fought only once, and we've been friends for close to 10 years.
Wow.
And that one fight, it was me who caused it. Let me say it on air. Because she didn't want me to pour water on her for her birthday. You know, those birthday. And I wanted to pour it. And she said no. It means I was still pouring it. And she got upset, right? But there are friendships like that. But there are other friendships I've had that we've had brawls. Do you understand?
Charlie.
Where we've had miscommunication. But the difference is that we don't make it go far.
Right.
Because in the end, everyone just understands that it's a miscommunication. And also because my friends do not say very unkind words.
Yeah.
You know, you see, sometimes the person can say certain things like, you alone, do you think you're the one who knows God? You know, it makes me wonder, what do you think about me all this while we've been friends? Like,
Yeah.
do you understand? So, I mean, for me too, I feel like you must treat your friendships with grace.
Yeah.
And I try my best to treat my friendships with grace. I don't think I'm the bestest of friends to my friends, but I think I try my best. I pray for them. I don't know what I can do. I pray for them. I do everything I can humanly for them when I can. And so for me, I manage my friendships quite well. And when we say we have outings, I try my best. Even if I have a church program, even if I'm tired, I'll push the schedule up if I can, and I'll meet up with them. Because I feel like those things are the ones in a lifetime. Like my friend's graduation, she won't graduate again. That's a particular thing. She won't, if she's doing law, she won't graduate from law school again. Like, so whatever I can, I'll be there if I can make it. I mean,